Each week, we welcome to the NfG stage one of our highly talented members and exciting guests to bring you something designed to benefit you and your business. Our next guest is a business strategist and investor with over 20 years experience with tier 1 investment banks and consultancy, including Deutsche Bank, JPMorgan, Credit Suisse, and IBM Capital Markets, developing and leading large-scale mergers and acquisitions, turnarounds, and performance improvements. In addition, they've established a range of successful businesses covering architectural design, real estate, construction fit-out, and management consultancy. This lady hosts a variety of corporate networking events, as well as a property investors network in Canary Wharf. Today, she will show us how to build on the theme of finding your why, which we covered last week, and introduce an exercise that will enable us all to discover and articulate our personal this is a tricky one, our personal purpose statements, which will form an incredibly powerful and succinct elevator pitch. I bring to you Selina Bolton. Over to you, Selina.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to share my screen. Can you give me access, Richard?
I have just done. I think it's probably because I was sharing. So you should be okay now.
Okay. There we go. Okay, you can see that.
Yeah, it's good.
Yep.
All right, great. So last week we had the pleasure of Paul Dunn's company and his presentation on how to nail your why to gain more business and joy. For those of you who missed his presentation, here's a bite-sized recap. Paul firmly believes that when you know how to clearly articulate your why, what you do and how you do it becomes profoundly more attractive and compelling to your customers, to your staff, to your business partners. There are over 150,000 books on Amazon that talk about this topic and offer exercises to help you discover your why. And there are plenty of articles and reports that demonstrate the commercial benefits of being a purpose-driven company. Paul shared 3 headlines from a Deloitte 2020 Trends report. Purpose-driven companies grow faster, their employees are 3 times more loyal, and people are twice as more productive in a purpose-driven company. I'll add one more. 90% of the decisions we make are based on emotion. We use logic to justify our actions to ourselves and others, but emotion is what really drives purchasing behaviors. We are more likely to buy from companies that reflect our own values and beliefs, and the most important brands in the world make us feel something in a way that drives decision-making and behavior. Possibly the most iconic author associated with this topic is Simon Sinek, who wrote Start With Why. Simon believes that true purpose is the idea of knowing why your business exists in terms beyond your products and services. Our true goal is to leave this world and the people in it in better shape than we found them. Building a business with purpose requires clarity, discipline, and constancy. It all starts with clarity. You have to know why you do what you do. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Hows are your values, principles, processes, and actions that bring discipline and guide how to bring your cause to life. And what are the results of those actions? Everything you say and do, your products, your services, your marketing, PR, the culture of your organization, and who you hire. All these things must be consistent. Today, we're going to build on Paul's introduction and encourage everyone here to clarify their purpose. And we're going to do it using a 5-minute exercise. Before we do, let's look at one more statistic from a Harvard study into health and well-being. 80% of adults are unhappy with their lives. It doesn't matter if you're privileged, highly educated, or financially well off. If you're missing a sense of purpose, life can feel empty and unsatisfying. The 20% who are happy tend to be the people who studied classes for the joy of learning, they followed their passions, whether or not they were paid well, and are living life expansively. They do not feel they have wasted a single minute. Each of the 20% knew something about their life purpose because they knew 5 things: who they were, what they did, who they did it for, what those people wanted or needed, and what they got out of it, how they changed as a result. Now, does that sound hard? It's not, it's simple. And we're going to look at an example. Our very special Andy Taylor completed this exercise earlier, and here are his responses. What he does, he creates marketing solutions. So ask yourself, what do you love to do? Is it to write? Is it to design? Is it to fix IT? Do you crunch numbers? Do you actually coach business owners? If a lot of things come to mind for you, then focus it down to this one question. What is the one thing that right now you feel supremely qualified to teach other people? Now think about who you do it for. For Andy, that's business owners. Next, what do those people want or need and come to you so that you can give them this thing? Write it down in 1 or 2 words. For Andy, he stated, they want action to dramatically and quickly shift their business results. Now, this last question is the best one. How do they change? How do they change or transform as a result of what you give them? For Andy, his clients will have less stress and more time to focus on engaging with customers. Now let's put it together in a sentence. The formulation is so powerful because out of the 5 things you need to know what your life purpose is, only 2 are about yourself. The other 3 are about other people, who they are, what they want or need, and how they change as a result. The formulation forces you to be outward facing. The 20% from the Harvard study know who they serve, what those people need, and how those people change as a result. Successful people in any field always focus most on the people that they serve, rather than how they serve themselves. And life teaches us that if we make other people happy, we will be taken care of too. Now, one of the most difficult things that happens when you meet people for the first time is that they ask you this question: what do you do? It can feel challenging, especially if you're between things, or what you seem to do isn't what you really do, or what you're paid to do isn't how you define yourself. You can also wonder why somebody is asking you that question. You know, perhaps are they trying to figure out if you're worth spending time with? So when somebody asks you that question, you need to say the very last answer you wrote, how what you do changes the people you do it for. So for example, you might say, I give kids amazing dreams. If your life purpose is, I write books for children so they can fall asleep at night, so they can have amazing dreams. Or you might say, I help people look and feel their best. If your life purpose is, I design clothes for men and women who need affordable choices so they can look and feel their best. Or you might say, I help people get great work out into the world. If your life purpose is, I train entrepreneurs and creative people to take decisive action so they can get their greatest work out into the world. And then that little snippet that you just said becomes your elevator pitch. And it will always start the conversation because the person you're talking to just has to ask you the question, how do you give kids amazing dreams? How do you help people look and feel their best? How do you help people get great work out into the world? You then get to tell them and share your life purpose with them. Now, the Networking for Good team will be sharing their purpose statements and elevator pitches on the LinkedIn group page today. So we're hoping that you will also share yours. And it's now time for you to clarify your purpose in a breakout session. We'll work in small breakout groups, and Richard will set up the groups. Each will have a facilitator, and in the chat box, you'll be able to access a worksheet that has the 5 questions in it and the prompts in order for you to succinctly prepare your purpose statement. You'll spend the first 5 minutes working individually, and then you'll have a further 10 minutes or so to share and discuss your purpose statements amongst the group.